Now in my recent video on submarine and wolfpack tactics in the Atlantic, there's a question that comes up regularly. Basically it's like, why not go after the escort ships first and then attack the convoy? So basically the convoy ships is just the prey and you first go against the dangerous ships, the escort ships. Which sounds logical at first, but if you look at the primary mission of the Kriegsmarine, of the U-Boot-Waffe, it was basically sink merchant ships. So from this point it doesn't make sense. Then additionally, if you look at the context, a submarine back then was basically just a submersible ship. So underwater it was slower than on the surface. The later versions of the U-boats, which came very later, were faster underwater than surface, but for the most part the Type 7 U-boat was not. So they're slower underwater. Additionally, they have very limited ammo. Torpedoes are very rare. You only have a handful on every submarine. And this comes to the next point. The submarine strength was basically, if it was surfaced during night, it was basically invisible for most other surface ships. So it could sometimes move within the convoy, because the convoy was a large target, or they were spread out a large target area. And these ships, these submarines were also rather fast in comparison to the convoy ships, which is in quite contrast to the escort ships. So if you look at the convoy, the submarine first had to position itself in a good firing solution. And you looked at the convoy as a whole. So you moved and you intercepted it. You knew the direction of the convoy. It might change it, but for the most part, it was going on a very predictable route. They were easy targets, the convoy ships, and they were the intended targets. In other way, the convoy ships were very predictable, easy targets. Now, if you look at an escort ship, it had a flexible direction usually. It changed the course. It stayed with the convoy, but it was usually faster, going slower, or patrolling around. So in other words, it's a hard target. It's fast and it's also usually smaller. And furthermore, these escort ships were usually not expensive destroyers. They were either old destroyers or some corvettes or other purpose-built ships that were rather cheap. So wasting a torpedo on them, not gonna happen. So it's an unintended target, it's a hard to hit target. So in any way, an escort ship is an undesirable target. You only should attack it if there's no other option, because why waste a precious torpedo on one of them? And the main aspect was staying unseen. So if you go and want to attack an escort ship, you want to get a good firing solution, especially since it's smaller, more evasive and everything. So this means you need to get closer. Why get closer to the only thing that can hurt you? Or to put it differently, attacking an escort ship is completely against your primary mission. It doesn't inflict major damage on the enemy. It's way harder to do. It puts your own survivability at risk. And there are many more ways to avoid the escort ships in the very beginning of the war, in the early days of the war when it didn't have radar. And when surface, the sonar couldn't detect you. As such, it makes completely sense that the Kriegsmarine instructed not to attack escorts if possible and to avoid them as much as possible. To summarize, it's easier to hit merchant ships, it's the goal to hit merchant ships, it's effective use of ammo to hit merchant ships, and it's way more to secure to attack convoy ships, merchant ships, than to attack escorts. So I hope this answered the question. Thank you for watching and see you next time.